Democrat Harry S. Truman assumed the presidency in April 1945 upon the death of Franklin D. Roosevelt, inheriting the immense challenges of concluding World War II and transitioning the nation to peace. The most consequential military action of his early presidency, which remains ethically debated, was the order to drop atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August 6th and August 9th, 1945. This act, described by critics as a genocidal act and war crime due to the massive loss of civilian life, estimated at over 200,000 in total, was justified by the administration as a necessary measure to force Japan's unconditional surrender and prevent an estimated 1 million casualties from a planned land invasion of the Japanese mainland. The decision was made with little debate, reflecting an atmosphere of urgency and a commitment to ending the war at almost any cost, despite warnings about the moral implications of using such a weapon. Domestically, 1945 marked the beginning of Truman's efforts to enact his legislative program, a continuation of the New Deal, which included calls for a Permanent Fair Employment Practices Act, expansion of Social Security, and a full employment program. While the proposed FEPA aimed to combat racial discrimination in hiring, which was a progressive move, institutional racism and segregation remained deeply entrenched in the nation and the Democratic South, which largely resisted the measure. Truman's administration did not immediately dismantle the segregation and discrimination that existed within the federal government and the military, though he would later take steps to do so. Furthermore, the handling of the post-war economy involved a rapid dismantling of wartime price controls and other stabilizing measures, which contributed to significant inflation and labor unrest in late 1945 and 1946. His administration also took over certain private facilities, such as oil plants, during strikes, an act viewed by some as an unethical use of executive power to manipulate labor disputes. The broad discretionary power used during the war and the beginning of the Cold War era would later be criticized for an expansion of centralized government power and a move toward what critics labeled an imperial presidency. While there were no major federal laws passed in 1945, the administration's actions and inactions must be viewed in the context of the pervasive racist and prejudicial status quo of the time.